do it for a while, but it was kind of one of those superstitions. I kept winning the Super Bowl, which is a good thing, but I didn't want to cut the hair while I was doing it, and so I told everybody during the season that win or lose, if we win three in a row or if we lose, I'm getting the haircut. Like that's enough, and I'm very excited. Like I've looked at some videos from last year, and I can't believe all you guys let me keep that nappy hair for so long. Like I look way better now with the short hair, so I'll be keeping this going forward.
Let me tell you all what is so funny about this. So this guy's name is Patrick Mahomes. He is a football player, I believe, right? So a couple, I was gonna say weeks, but I think it might have been like a month or two ago. I made a video about this guy and his wife, right? So this guy is a biracial man, and he's married to a white woman. So they were on some little show where, it was like, oh, how well do you know your significant other? So they might ask you, oh, what's her favorite book? What's his favorite color? Whatever, right? So they asked his white wife, what's his favorite food, right? And she said, fried chicken. Like, that's legit how she said it. She didn't even just say it normally, oh, fried chicken is his favorite food. No, right? So after she said that, Patrick Mahomes was like, no. And then she was like, chicken fried steak? And he was like, no, it's Tex-Mex food. So, like, how did you get fried chicken? Or, like, that's not even anywhere close to his favorite food. Like, at least if, like, oh, say his favorite food was, I don't know, say Chinese food, right? You might have said, oh, maybe I thought his favorite food was lo mein, or lo mein. I don't know how it's pronounced, right? But it's actually chow mein, right? I knew it was Chinese food. I knew it was, some sort of noodle dish, but I was a little bit off with it, right? No, her answer was nowhere near what his favorite food actually was, right? And it was very obvious that her answer was based on stereotypes. And I find this so particularly funny, right? Because this guy is not black, but we see how white people force blackness onto him. Even though he basically white himself, like, look at him. That is not a black man, right? White people force blackness onto him. This man is probably about as white culturally as it can get. His mama white, his wife white, like, come on, right? But y'all forcing fried chicken stereotypes onto him, right? And this is so funny because now this brings us to the topic of his hair. He talking about, oh yeah, why did you all let me keep that nappy hair, right? Your hair not even nappy. Like, your hair's not even nappy, right? But white people, again, are forcing this blackness onto you. And, we're going to talk about it, of course. Now, I will say this, as someone who has 4C hair, right? The term nappy, and it's crazy because I use the term nappy myself on my own hair, right? But coming from certain people with certain, like tones to their voice, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like the way he worded this. First of all, you basically damn near got white people hair. And y'all finna come to the comments, oh, that's not white people hair, it's curly. Okay, well, it ain't black people hair. It is not nappy. And this is my thing about y'all. Y'all will sit here and say that biracials are not white because, oh, well, look, he's not perfectly the color of copy paper and his hair is not bone straight. Okay, well, he damn sure not black. This is not how a black person looks, right? But y'all will pretend that they're black all day, every day. Y'all will pretend that a biracial person's mixed phenotype is a black phenotype, but you never pretend it's a white phenotype. That's what, like, makes no sense to me. But whatever, let's not even go into the depths of it. Let's just keep going with what we're talking about, right? This man's hair is not nappy at all by any means, right? That being said, he don't need to be saying the word nappy. But clearly, let's be for real, this is something that he's heard from white people. Now, I don't know anything about Patrick Mahomes, but just judging from the fact that he has a white mom and he's married to a white woman, I'm going to assume he probably grew up around white people. Like, let's be honest, y'all. Across all cultures, all races, all ethnicities, women do the primary child rearing. Children are mostly going to take after their mothers. Even if you have two parents who are the same race and the same ethnicity, you're going to identify with whatever your mother is more. Like, for example, I have parents who are both black and who are both Black American, right? But my mom's Black American is from South Carolina. My dad's Black American is from Georgia, Louisiana, Kentucky, a couple different places, right? My point is this though, right? Culturally, I aligned more with South Carolina Black Americans than any of the regions of my dad's background, right? Even though I grew up with both parents in the household, right? My point again is that children align more with their mothers because mothers are the ones who are doing most of the child rearing. Mothers are the ones who are cooking most of the food, right? So you're going to grow up eating your mother's cultural dishes and, learning your mother's culture more than anything, right? Now, that is the case even with somebody who has two parents who are the same race and ethnicity, right? So let's take it a step further. Right? Be for real, okay? Let's take it one step. If we have somebody whose parents are the same race but different ethnicities, right? So say for example, because y'all know I say that I date interethnically. I don't date interracially, but I do date interethnically, right? I'll date a black guy who is African or Caribbean or something, right? Let's say I had a kid with a guy who was African or Caribbean. What culture do you think that child is going to be more like? Clearly mine, because I'm the mother, okay? And that is regardless of where the child grows up. The child could grow up in Africa or the Caribbean, and the child is still going to align heavily with my culture because, again, I am the mother. I'm the one doing the cultural rearing. I'm the one cooking my ethnic foods, right? Clearly, okay? Now let's take it another step further, okay? Pretend that we have a case where the parents are of completely different backgrounds, not even just different ethnicities, but also of different races. Now we have the case of someone like Patrick Mahomes, right, who has parents of different racial backgrounds. And in his case, his mother is white, his father is black, right? Now let's pretend that he grew up in a two-parent household, right? Still, who do you think he's going to identify more with culturally, white people or black people? Come on now. Like, we all know it's white people because the mother is white, right? Because this is the reality. Have you ever seen a household, baby? They only run because of women, right? So the woman is the one cooking her cultural food. So in his case, mom is making green bean casserole and ambrosia salad, like, I'm sure that is quite tasty, my dog diggity, but I'll have to take your word for it, all right? So the mom is doing the cooking, right? The mom is doing the cultural installations, right? Women in the household are the ones who plan all the parties, all of the everything. If it's holidays, guess who's planning it? The woman, right? So a lot of times kids end up being closer to their mother's side of the families than their fathers. Because again, women are the ones who do all of the planning, all of the everything, all of the whatever, right? So time and time again, kids end up more like their mothers than their fathers. So in the case of a biracial person, they're going to be culturally more similar to their mother than their father, right? So let's be for real. Like, not only is Patrick Mahomes just not black, period, because, of course, black people have two black parents, like, duh, right? But culturally, this dude is pretty much fucking white. Like, I said all that to say something, right? Not only are biracials just not black, period, right? But then on top of that, culturally, they're usually like pretty much white. like be for real, right? Usually they're pretty much white. But still, white people force blackness onto them. Like, I remember there was a biracial. She lived in Germany, right? And she clearly was not black. Like, nothing about her was given black. She was very clearly a biracial woman, right? And she posted like, oh yeah, like, I want to be the dark skin representation that people need. This girl was like maybe cream colored. And that's honestly being very generous. And folks got on her head about that. Folks were like, yeah, this is erasure because there are actual dark skinned people who need representation. And yo, light, bright, and nearly white ass is not said representation for them, right? So then she was like, oh, well, in Germany, I'm dark skinned. Okay, well, dark skin is a term that black people came up with, bitch. So you not dark skin fucking period. Now, maybe white people, the color of copy paper, identify you as dark skin, but you're not actually dark skin, right? And I'm saying this for a point as well, right? Y'all have to realize that your position in the white community is not the same as your position in the black community. So in the case of Patrick Mahomes, clearly white people are telling you that your hair is nappy. But in real fucking life, in black life, your hair is not nappy. Actually, in the black community, what you have, right, on top of your head would be called good hair, okay? Black people will look at your hair and say, oh, he got good hair, right? Your shit is not nappy, right? So the fact that you sat here and said this goofy shit is honestly, I feel a bit offended by it as a black person. Like, okay, cool. White people call you dark skinned and say that you have nappy hair. And okay, that's between you and white folk. That's y'all business, right? But you have to actually understand that in real fucking life, you are not dark skinned. You do not have nappy hair, right? And when you speak on those things in a derogatory fashion, and in this case, we're talking specifically about nappy hair, right? When you speak about it in a derogatory fashion, the people who actually have those phenotypes have every right to be offended. Like, absolutely do. Because the way he said this, it didn't sound right to me, right? And also, I want to bring something else up. Because I get a lot of comments on my YouTube channel talking about how black women support these Asian businesses because we hate our hair so much, so and so and so, right? So a lot of black men will come to my comments, right? And they'll say, oh yeah, black women are buying all this weave and stuff because they hate their hair. Black men are not like that, right? And Patrick Mahomes just told on y'all. Even though he's not a black man, he just told on y'all. And he literally just did something that I've pointed out before, right? He literally said, oh, yeah, that nappy hair is so ugly, I'm going to cut it off, right? So he didn't go get a wig or a weave to cover it up. Instead, he cut it off. And I've pointed this out before. Black men like to pretend that they love their hair more than black women, right? But you notice that their hair is always cut short, right? Very, very rarely do you see black men with dreadlocks. And of course, there's going to be some dreadheads in the comments. Having dreadlocks has become more popular in recent years, yes, right? But even now, the vast majority of black men don't have dreadlocks, right? And think back. Y'all remember back in that had to been about maybe 2015, 13, I don't know, right? Somewhere thereabouts, right? When everybody, black men, right, would do wave checks. Wave checks, y'all remember that? Come on now. Basically, wave checks were seeing who had the best waves. Quite literally, who had the best waves, right? So black guys, they would cut their hair off very short. Then they will put a bunch of grease in it. Niggas would walk around with a grease, like a container of grease and a brush. And just, when I tell you, they would constantly be putting grease in their hair and brushing it 24/7. That's all they did. And then the only other thing they did, sometimes they would put the do-rag on it to cover it up, right? And then that's when people start doing wave checks. Oh, take your do-rag off. Let us see your wave. See who shit is swimming, right? But is that not literally hating your hair? You hate your hair so fucking much that you walk around with wave grease and brush your shit constantly to make it look like it's wavy. Quite fucking literally. Y'all are walking around doing wave checks, right? And if somebody's hair doesn't look wavy, if it looks too nappy or black, right? Y'all would cook their ass. It's really not giving that y'all love y'all hair, right? But like I said, the hatred of black men's hair, it manifests itself differently than the hatred of black women's hair, right? So as women, women are by society standards supposed to have long hair and whatever, right? So of course black women are not going to cut their hair off because we hate our hair. Well, at least not in America, because them African girls is shaving their heads bald, but that's another story for another day, right? My point is this though. I be so lost when y'all be coming to my channel talking about, oh yeah, black women hate their hair so much. So do you, bitch. That's why your hair is always fucking cut the fuck off. And if it's not, then you let it grow out a little bit so you can harass it 24/7 into taking on a more wavy appearance, because you hate your hair just as much as black women. Like, shut that shit up. You know what I will never understand about black people who really claim biracials as black, right? I just will never understand how you can look at somebody like Patrick Mahomes and call him black. Like, what? Like, this man is like basically white with curly hair. Like, and I'm not even just talking about the way he talks or his culture or anything. Like, no. If I saw this man for the first time, never heard him speak before, didn't know anything about, his upbringing or cultural alignments or anything, right? I would never identify this man as black. This man is basically white. But black people are, by and large, right, in general, so obsessed with pretending that people like this man at all in any way represent blackness. Because this is the reality, y'all. This is the reality. Just like Patrick Mahomes just sat here and spoke so negatively of nappy hair, right? He shared with you all how he views nappy hair, how he views blackness, okay? Because we all know who got nappy hair. Only black people got nappy hair, right? The same way he just showed you all how he feels about blackness, right? You all show how you feel about blackness when you insist upon pretending that non-black people are black. Every time you look at a biracial person and insist that they are black, you are telling on yourself. You are telling on yourself. You are admitting that you hate the actual image of blackness, and that's what you wish blackness was.